Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with the veteran Noob, and this is the veteran Noob's adventures in CSR2. And today we are going to tackle the Prestige Cup. Now, the Prestige Cup is very important for any player, particularly new players that are in milestone crews, because if you can pull the PC car, which I have here, if you can figure out how to build it and finish this cup, you are going to get about 300,000 extra crew points basically as a bonus reward from just this one cup. Now, this cup comes along every season, and you have to first have the Prestige car, which is the ACS4 for this season, to be eligible to enter the cup. But also, you have to get enough upgrades to get yourself actually through the cup. Before we start the cup itself, let me tell you a little bit about my strategy when it comes to these kind of things. First thing first, you want to save up silver keys so that you have enough every season to guarantee you can get this car. In this case, I got the car in 3 polls and then I stopped, because once I get the car, I want to start pushing the value of my silver keys back up to guarantee next season. You should do this every season, and eventually you will never be without a PC car. You always have to assume, though, some seasons you're going to end up using 15 total tries and going to burn up 750 silver keys. This is why when you don't burn up that many, you should save the extra. The second important key set is the bronze key, because at some point, especially when the PC Cup actually starts on Thursday, the second week of the season, you will get a specialized crate specifically for parts for this car, the Prestige car, and the loyalty is a stage 6. If you're already stuck because your car's not upgraded enough, whether it's lack of fusions or lack of stage 6, that crate will be your savior. But that's assuming you have the bronze keys. No keys, you're not going to get through. Now, I had both keys, and I have been buying and stripping BMW since the beginning of the season, both the 325 as well as the M4. So I am able to get this car built up pretty substantially at this point, both in fusions and in stage 6s, because I have gotten one from the Crew Cup today. I got one from, I believe 1 or 2 from the crates actually. I got one from the free crate, which I think is this one, not this one. And then later on, I was pretty close to loyalty. I think I had like 5 crates in already. So I spent some extra bronze keys and go ahead and got myself the loyalty, which happens to be a decent stage 6 as well. With the fusions and stage 6s, even though I am not normally looking to be able to complete the Prestige Cup as a new player, I am able to get this car tuned to the point where it will be able to complete the Prestige Cup. Now, every season this is going to change. Some seasons you're going to have a car that is very hard to build. Next season coming up, I think, might be a Porsche, which is not going to be as easy as a BMW to get parts for, and therefore might be tougher. But the other thing you need to know is that Prestige Cups change every season. Some seasons it's quite easy because of the way the car is. Some seasons it can be very difficult. This particular season, it seems that the average time for the ending run is around an 8.6 to 8.7, which requires a decent amount of upgrades in order to accomplish, unfortunately. But it is doable because it is ultimately a BMW, which you can get fusions for. Some PC Cup seasons we've seen where a stage 5 only with full fusion could actually beat the cup. That's rare. Generally speaking, my experience has been that it requires you to have at least 1 or 2 stage 6s, particularly the strong ones, to be able to successfully make it through the PC Cup without much of an issue. That being said, usually race 28 will give you a stage 6, and you should keep your fingers crossed that it is not a duplicate, because oftentimes it is. But if it's not a duplicate, that's another chance to get one more stage 6. So at the minimum, no matter how unlucky you are at the crates, without getting even to loyalty, you should end up with 2 stage 6s for this particular car, whatever car it may be, 1 through the Crew Cup and 1 through the event itself, with the possibility that both being the same stage 6, which is, I've seen people get like 4 turbos out of the entire season for the Prestige Cup car. That is possible. It kind of sucks, but it's a possibility. Now, it looks like my tune might be a little too tight here, and I'm actually getting 0 RPM drop. I'm going to have to tweak either the tune, or I'm going to have to launch maybe a little bit later to avoid that situation. But because I have the car already built so far, I don't foresee myself having any problems finishing at the PC Cup. For the players at my level, or my rank, I should say, not at my level, I've been playing a long time, but at my rank, PC Cup is not a must complete item. You may not actually be able to, in some cases, to actually complete it. So keep that in mind, that you're going to try to complete it, but there might be situations where you struggle to the end and you just can't complete it. Now, the 0 RPM drop's getting a little annoying to me, so I'm going to go ahead and go back and tune this car and tweak the final drive a little bit so it's a little more aggressive, and then that would avoid this constant 0 RPM drop. The alternative also is to simply lower this a little bit. Okay, and then we can put that this way. So I'm looking at a 8.5. See, this is the problem right there. You see the drop. Okay, that's wonderful when you're trying to maybe beat Dyno, because that little Evo drop right there will knock this to a 9.0, and you could probably still run an 8.5. But here with the maximum, I definitely don't want to tweak it. If I'm going to tweak it 2 more points more, just to make sure I shouldn't get that 0 RPM drop so much. In the grand scheme of it, since I'm already looking at an 8.5 somewhere, I'm not too concerned about, a few hundreds or even a few thousand, or even a tenth. Really, it should still allow me to get through everything. But speed traps with this car, seems pretty good at it. Just hit nitrous a little bit later, should be more than sufficient. Okay, 3rd gear nitrous will be able to push it easily over the speed trap. Basically, you want to stay on nitrous for most speed traps. The other alternative, of course, is to make the final drive more aggressive or lower tire grip. Any one of these should be able to pull off the speed trap. And we're going to keep going rather than watching the gas ads for now. So, again, as I was saying earlier, not completing the PC Cup. Sometimes it's better not to waste all your resources to try to complete this as a newer player. Rather, you just kind of let it go and just, do as much as you can given the upgrades you have, and then make up the rest of the points in live or other ways. Because if you burn up every single bronze key you have, or you spend a few hundred extra silver keys to pull duplicate PC cars just to strip them for parts, what you're doing is you're kind of setting yourself up for failure in the next season. These things come back every season, so what you're doing is you're doing planning. And planning ahead and looking ahead is always the way to play. Because if you just worry about this season and you just worry about this event and getting this done, chances are next season you're going to be kind of stuck, because you're going to be short on resources and other things. So you're going to have to dig into your wallet to compensate, right? If you are a free-to-play player, even worse, because then you're kind of stuck looking at, what do I do? Do I actually put more effort this season, or am I going to have to skip a season of Prestige Cup altogether? Is not a good situation to be in. Much better to kind of have a little bit of management and self-control and resource management, so that you're always set up every season to be at least somewhat successful. Partially completing the PC Cup could be just as helpful as fully completing it. If you're only missing out on that little bit at the end, as far as getting the Cup done, you're talking about 180,000 points. Sure, that hurts, but you can make that up pretty easily with a little extra effort in live each day. Plus, those live races, if you don't do them normally, will also give you extra keys and money at the same time, all of which you need. So nothing wrong with going into live and doing those. Besides which, you can also test out the PC car in live to find out if it's any good. If it sucks, it sucks. I mean, you should have a live car separate from any PC car anyway. Okay, so a lot of talk about what to do, but primarily when you find a PC car you can get fusions for that season at least, you should definitely try to push a little bit, get the PC car built. If you find a PC car that is both hard to get fusions for and you're not having much luck getting parts on, those kind of seasons, it's almost better to just finish as much as you can and skip it. Again, there's nothing that says you must finish the PC Cup. Okay, burning up all your bronze keys isn't smart. Now, moving right along here, this PC Cup, again, with the car built to the point where I have it at, should be extremely easy to get through. I'm not even trying to drive all that well. I'm just driving it, kind of bad actually. But for now, from here to race 28, I can't even imagine any of these opponents coming close to me as far as performance goes, because I have enough upgrades to beat the final boss. I mean, not final boss, but the final race in the PC Cup for the most part. I mean, you can always get a car that's freakishly fast, and it does happen, but I don't think it's going to be much of an issue here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of skip out to fourth. This is a long gear on this car, and certainly you want it on nitrous to get through the speed traps. Once again, I'm seeing about 155, 156, which is good because right now it's only asking for 132. And that's more than halfway through relatively quickly without any hassle. How do you find out about, I guess I should say this, when should you start building your PC car? Well, for cars that I know I can build easily, I start building right after I acquire it at the beginning of the season. But for a car that is questionable, even for example the last season's Jaguar, the XE8, because I know it's hard to get parts for, what I did is I actually held off on building it for a bit. I just kind of gathered fusions, gathered whatever I can. I ran it basically in the supply cup stock, because you can run it stock in, or with one stage of nitrous or two stage of nitrous generally will get you through all the supply cups. Collected those fusions and then kind of planned on not being able to beat the PC Cup. Turns out I got lucky because I managed to pull the most important stage 6 for that car, and with that and the amount of fusions I had from previously playing all the way to now, I happened to actually have enough fusions and parts to get through. But again, I didn't go into that season immediately building the car because I didn't want to waste all my money. And I wanted to kind of see where the PC Cup would have ended up at. Ultimately, remember, you have 6 days basically to complete the PC Cup once it starts. So even if your car is not built at all on the first day, you will have enough time to slowly gather resources to get through. Plus, you're going to want to see which stage 6 you get on the Friday after the Cup starts, because that could make or break your season as well, as far as whether your PC car is going to be up to snuff as far as getting through these events. So, if especially T4, T5 PC cars, which are very expensive to build, T5 would be the real one that I would have to make a lot of judgment calls on before I start spending money on. That is because, if you're going to spend $6 million of your cash to build something, you certainly want to be able to get good use out of it. Meaning, at the minimum, I want to be able to get through the Cup and not build a car and then realize I have no parts for it anyway, and then I just spent $6 million for nothing, right? So I wait until the Cup starts. I wait until I get my stage 6 on Friday. Then I build the car, and then I tend to wait and hit the PC Cup sometime on Sunday or Monday or even Tuesday before the season's heading towards its end to kind of get my points. In the end, as a milestone player, I don't need to cap. I don't need to make a certain amount of points per day. I just want to make sure by the end of the season I make my crew minimum, so the crew leader doesn't turn to me and go, well, because you did not get the minimum, I have to kick you before you get the car. I don't want that. So I'm going to try to make sure I get over minimum and then some. But if I know that from the beginning of the season this PC car isn't looking too good, and it doesn't look like I have any parts for it, I'm going to hit the live racing extra. I'm going to start putting a buffer of points in, so I don't end up into the season with 200,000 points, looking at an 800,000 minimum, going, oh gee, where the hell is that 600,000 going to magically come from, right? So you need to play and plan, just like any other aspects of this game. A lot of planning involved, and a lot of patience and resource management to keep yourself advancing. Now, this is a 142, and I know I've done 155, so I'm not too worried about beating this. So there it is, 156. Okay, right on through the speed trap, no issues. And this time I pushed it to about 157. Now, I don't know if there's another speed trap. There's seven races to go. There could be another speed trap, but since I'm not going out to the map to peek at it, we'll just roll with it. Okay, here we go. All right. So far so good, easy peasy. But then again, I built the car first before, and then I did some research and found out what the in time was before I bothered to start the cup. Ultimately, every point counts, but if you know that you're going to struggle with the PC Cup, you know, especially if you're like level 60, level 70 player that just started with a milestone crew, get your points in ahead of time. Don't count on these free points being the only ones that can push you beyond the minimum. That's really a bad strategy because you never know when you may get stuck. And then if it's into the season and you're stuck, you won't have time or opportunities to make up those points. So do them early, and then use these bonus points as a way to kind of show that you can do far more than minimum, rather than using it as your only leverage to get minimum. You don't know how many times I've heard players tell me, oh, I can't hit minimum because I didn't get the PC car. I can't hit minimum because I didn't get the PC Cup. It was never meant for that. It is meant to make your life easier, but hitting minimum should have nothing to do with whether you got the PC car and whether you can get through the PC Cup. You should look at what you have and plan accordingly, meaning play the game. Okay, get those points from live, get those points from showdown. Don't hang your hat and hang your entire minimum reaching capabilities on this cup. I really am against that. I think it's, in some ways, it's bad that we have this cup here that many milestone crew members kind of fall into this habit of, oh man, if that's 300,000 points, I'm just going to get it from the PC Cup. So it's good and bad, right? It does make your life easier, but if you come to rely on it too much and you're somehow not prepared, it can come back and bite you. And then you'll be crying to your crew leader, why I can't do it, and please give me a break this season because, you know, I didn't get the PC car. No leader likes to hear that. Okay, if anything, that may make them want to kick you. So just keep that in mind, that you shouldn't hang all your hopes and dreams of hitting minimum on this cup. You definitely use it as a bonus type situation, not the points you're going to rely on. Of course, on seasons where you have a car that you had from prior seasons, plenty of parts, yeah, it allows me to take it easier. You know, oh, I got 300,000 extra points that I'm definitely getting. Sure, I don't have to push for 800,000 this time. Maybe I'll do 600,000 and then I'll hit the 300. And, you know, with the other crew cups, I'll push about 1.2 million by the end, and it's a comfortable season. Very little beating around live racing and trying to hit those wild cards is hard, and I still comfortably make 1.2. So you have to, again, think about all this. And the biggest hurdle, again, for new players is always getting the car in the first place and getting the car ready. I think getting the car ready is going to be your biggest hurdle of all as a new player for each Prestige Cup. Okay, so I'm ranked 93, right? And I'm here, I'm going into race 28. Let's see if I get a duplicate stage 6 or not, because this is the race where, for some players, for many players, it could be a make or break moment. If you get the right stage 6, boom, you're done. But if you don't have the right stage 6, you could be really, really stuck. That's where you're going to be going back to those bronze keys. So do not waste your bronze keys. Save them every season outside of using them on crates that you need to use. And don't just go pull random bronze keys because, you feel like gambling. That's not what those keys are good for. Okay? Alright, so easy run, easy win, and it's a duplicate. See, this is the problem. This is common with PC Cups. What if I had really needed another stage 6? If I only had tire and say I have body, which is actually not bad, but let's say you have just tire and turbo or something, and you're not going to make it through race 29 and 30, that would have been a real kick in the in the privates, because now you just got a duplicate and now you're really stuck. But if you have extra bronze keys, you're still safe. If you don't have extra bronze keys, well, now you're in trouble. Where can you get bronze keys the easiest? Live racing. So it goes back to, do not ignore live racing and hang, again, all your hopes on making points on this thing. Okay, I love the PC Cup. I love having it every season. And I always plan to have the PC car. But in the end, it's not that simple to just say, oh, I got the PC car, I'm going to make it through. Notice, extreme. So even though I know this should beat most opponents coming up for that last race, this is not a super easy season because this is not a super hard car to build, I think. So Natural Motion naturally made it a little tougher on the PC car scale. Not super hard by any means, but a little bit on the tougher side. So extreme doesn't mean you can't beat it. It just means that the other guy's going to run really close to you. Unless I get the fluke guy that runs like 8.2, then I'm screwed. But most of them should be running slower than 8.5, 8.6 to 8.7 is what I was expecting them to run. And I got 8.676. Okay. There is one guy supposedly that does 13s. So if you got to this point and you're just stuck, your other option is to spend gas pip after gas pip and just jump in and out until you hopefully find Mr. 13. I would call that a programming glitch car that gives you the final win. So there it is. Ran through the PC Cup with my newest account, and we kind of talked about a little bit about all the important things to look for with Prestige Car and Prestige Cup. It's a bit of a rambly discussion, but I hope that some of the information in there was helpful to you. Again, just to kind of summarize quickly, save silver keys for the car, save bronze keys because you're going to need to pull crates in many cases. Keep an eye out for these crates. They come when the cup starts. And finally, if you can get fusions from dealership cars, get them from dealership cars. Don't pull crates. Don't pull extra cars for them because you're going to need those silver keys for the coming season. And lastly, do not rely purely on Prestige Cup points to make minimum. Always plan ahead to make minimum in other ways. Your crew will love you more, and you always end up collecting an extra car because you have one PC car every season and a milestone car every season. Alright, that is my Veteran Noob's Adventures in CSR2. That was the PC Cup for this season. I hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, ask me in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and would like notifications when I put up new videos, please subscribe so you can get notifications. As always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.